Welcome to Writing 303, Research and Writing for Professional Programs. I am your professor this semester. My name is Angela Reidinger Dotterman. My email address, which is listed here as well as under the contact professor information on the Blackboard site, is adotterman@york.cuny.edu. I respond to student emails within 24 hours and usually much sooner than that. So if you have questions or problems during the course of the semester and you need to get in touch with me, you can always email me, and that's a very easy way for us to get in touch with each other. There are some things you should do to plan for your success in the course. One thing you should do is you should plan to spend enough time working on the course. You need to spend at least 6 hours a week working on the course, and that is a minimum. Some weeks, admittedly, it's going to be more than that, particularly if you have a paper due. So you should make just as much time for this class as you would if you were taking it in a face-to-face format. And if you think about that in a face-to-face format, you are spending 4 hours in class, plus you're spending at least 2 hours getting ready for class every week, often more than that. So don't don't sabotage yourself by not considering how much time the class will take for you to complete the work. The next thing is you should carefully follow the instructions for each module and make sure that you correctly note the deadlines for participation assignments. Sometimes students don't do well in the online course because they don't read the instructions for the module, or they don't view all of the materials that are made available in the module. That's something that's really important too. The modules are very carefully written in order to give you the information you need to successfully complete the assignments in the course. If you have questions at any point about what to do in a module, it's very important that you ask me right away so that you're proceeding in the right way. Um, you should also contribute to the discussion forums within the allotted time window. A misconception that people sometimes have about online courses is that you can work at your own pace. And while to a certain extent that's true, this isn't exactly learning on demand. In other words, we do still have a course schedule, and there are still times that things need to be completed so that we can have a sense of community and you can participate in collaborative learning as a group. So you need to make sure that you're completing these discussions and the wiki assignments within the allotted window in order to facilitate that. You should also remember that writing is a process, and in a writing course, it is important that you participate in the process. And that includes completing drafts of papers, it includes completing the more informal assignments that I ask you to complete in preparation for the final draft of a paper. Um, it's it works better if you complete all of the things you're supposed to. You get what you're supposed to be getting out of a course like this, which is really understanding how to take writing from ideas into a polished, finished form. And the only way to learn that is to do it several times. Um, you should also plan to not fall behind in the reading. If you don't complete the reading, it will be impossible for you to participate in our course discussions. And then the last thing you should know is that I don't give incomplete grades unless there's an extraordinary extenuating circumstance. And there hasn't been one yet. I haven't given an incomplete grade in many years. So your grade will be based on the work that you have completed at the end of the term. So you should plan to finish the class at the end of the semester, not next semester. In terms of the course readings, there is a recommended textbook for the class, and it is a very recommended textbook. It's an investment, which I think you'll find very helpful. I have one, and I actually have used it quite a bit recently in my own work. It's a wonderful book. It's called the Bedford Handbook. There is a new edition out as of this summer. It's the ninth edition. It's by Diana Hacker and Nancy Summers. You can buy it online at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, or you can buy it at the York College bookstore. The book order was put in a long time ago, so there should be plenty of copies available. If you have another handbook that has current guidelines for APA citation and style, you can use that instead. If you can't afford a textbook right now, you can access the information for free at www.dianahacker.com/resdoc. There are also links to free online citation resources available under the Writing Resources tab in our course. But I will suggest to you that you go ahead and invest in the handbook. It is very helpful to have. Other course readings will be available as PDFs under the Course Readings tab on our Blackboard site. Here's the work for the course. We have two short-ish essays that are each worth 15% of the final grade. The first one is the synthesis essay. The second one is an argumentative essay. And obviously, I'll be giving you much more description of those assignments as we move toward them. Then most of the rest of the work in the course is devoted toward the big project that we do, which is the formal research paper. The research paper itself is an 8 to 10 page paper that incorporates the skills that you learn in essays number 1 and 2 into a research driven scholarly essay. In preparation for that, you complete two other assignments. One is the research proposal, which outlines the project that you're planning to do and gives me an opportunity to give you feedback on its viability. Then you complete an annotated bibliography, which is evidence of your research in progress. It is demonstrating that you have located the sources. It gives you an opportunity to practice properly citing sources. You'll also do annotation of the sources. Then, of course, there is the research paper itself, which is worth 40% of your final grade. So altogether, the research project winds up being worth 55% of the final grade. 5% of your grade is a final exam. The final exam is, I always tell students, is really nothing to worry about. It's not something you study for. It's a self-reflection and self-assessment of your progress in the course. You'll work on that very late in the semester, and you won't plan to spend more time on it than you would if you were completing it in a face-to-face format, so it should take no more than 2 hours of your time. The other 10% of your final grade is participation, and in this class, course participation includes your work on group wiki assignments, posts to the class discussion board, and participation in peer review assignments. So all of those together are worth different point values, as you'll see when we get into the course. Discussion board posts are worth 5 points. Wiki assignments are worth 10 points, and peer reviews are worth 5 points each, and you usually have two of them to do for each peer review cycle, so that winds up being worth 10 points. Anyway, the participation grade is a percentage of the points that you received out of the points that were possible in the participation domain of the course. Just to highlight a couple of course policies, you should read the syllabus for the course. There are more course policies, but these I think are the two very most important ones, and I just want to call your attention to them. There is attendance in an online course, and your attendance is measured by your participation in discussion forums and wiki assignments. So failure to complete these assignments does affect your participation grade, but it also counts as an absence in the course. So you may not miss more than 5 days or participation deadlines in the class, and this reflects the English department's policy that more than 5 absences results in a failing grade in the course. The other policy I want to call your attention to is academic integrity, which is discussed in much more depth in the syllabus. Academic integrity is taken very seriously in this course, and modules are going to focus on properly citing sources, on proper quotation, so that you're being very diligent about turning in work that is your own and being honest about the work that you're borrowing. You are expected to read and view the supporting materials and ask questions about these issues if you need clarification. And after that, I expect your writing to demonstrate mastery of those concepts. One thing that I want to point your attention to is that buying papers is a violation of academic integrity, despite the fact that a lot of the websites that sell these papers to students say, oh, this isn't plagiarism, this is just a study tool. If you are buying a paper and turning it in for credit as though it is your own work, it is absolutely a violation of academic integrity. And if you're caught, you will receive an F in the course and you will be referred to the college for disciplinary action. In terms of course structure, We have a schedule. Our schedule in the class, our week runs from Saturday to Friday. So the modules are released on Saturday mornings by noon. I usually have them up much sooner than that. And the class runs through Friday evening. So assignments are due on the times and dates listed on the syllabus. All assignments in the class are either due on Tuesdays or Fridays and always by 8 p.m. That's the deadline. In terms of the assignments, individual assignments like the papers are submitted via SafeAssign. Class discussions always take place in the discussion forum, and the group assignments are always completed using the wiki page. So that is the way that the course is organized, and you'll see what I mean when you start looking around the course and completing the assignments. If you have any questions at any point about where anything is or where you're supposed to submit something again, please ask. In terms of where to find different things on the course, um, it's a little bit difficult to see from the visual here because it was difficult to get a screenshot actually that I could get everything into, but I apologize for that. In terms of where it's at, under the course information tab, and I would just want to point out that these things right here, these bars, you can't click on them. Nothing happens when you click on this. But in the class, when these things, if you click on them, they're tabs and they open to different things. So just be aware of that. I had a student who was confused by that in the past, and I want to make sure you understand. Under the course information section, you'll find course and weekly orientation materials. You will find announcements and upcoming deadlines, which will appear under the announcements tab. And under the start here tab, you will find a lot of it is the start here place, so you probably have found it already if you found this video. It includes the syllabus. It also includes some other introductory materials to the course, so please look at everything under the Start Here tab. Under the Learning Materials section, you will find the learning modules, the weekly modules for the course. You'll also find the course readings. You'll find the videos that you're asked to view for the course, as well as the writing assignments themselves. Under the Learning Together tab, you will find links to the class discussions as well as to the course groups. And under the Course Resources tab, you will find links to general writing resources, York College writing learning resources, Blackboard tools, and Blackboard support. When you get into the modules themselves, you're going to see that the module folders are made available. I make them available one at a time. So when you're first logging on, you're only going to see week one, and then thereafter you'll see week two, et cetera, as each week goes by. I don't take them down after I've made them available. So if you want to go back and look at materials from earlier in the course, the materials will always be available after they've been presented to you. When you click on the folder, you're going to see that there will be a sheet of instructions. You'll also see that there will be links within the folder to all of the items within the folder. So let's say the week's instructions tells you that we're going to have a reading. We're going to be reading The Social Model of Disability by Tom Shakespeare, for example. You will also see a link to The Social Model of Disability by Tom Shakespeare underneath that. If there's an assignment due, there will be a link to the SAFE assignment and so on, a link to discussion boards. If at any point you open a module and you don't see the material you need to see, let's say a link doesn't get transferred over. Sometimes that happens, not very often, but I'm sorry to say once in a while I do make mistakes. Please contact me right away. Don't wonder about it, and I will make sure that it is made available to you. And that is it. That is the introduction to Writing 303. I'm looking forward to a great semester with you. I'm glad you're in the course. And again, if at any point you have a concern or a question, please don't feel like the fact that we're not meeting face to face means that I'm not interested in you or interested in your success. I'm very excited to work with you, and I want to help you in whatever way I can to successfully complete the course.